the Rise and Radiance webinar. I'm EdenAmadora. It's good to be with you again. There's some familiar faces here. I'd love to introduce my lovely co-host and soul sister. Let me see if I can spotlight you, Chanel.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Lovely to see you.
Presence where everybody's coming from as we're joining together. It's really a sweet way to feel each other. I'm in Northern California. I'm just north of San Francisco. And Chanel is all the way over in France, in the beautiful land of Mary Magdalene in the south of France. Where are you coming from? Oh, it's fun to see so many familiar faces coming in. Aw, I'm just going to scroll and see who's here. Good to see you, Antoinette. It's been a while. Hi. Agnes, Linen Leaf, Pat, Maria, for those who are turning on their Jonathan, welcome. Men are always welcome. And we are focusing on inner feminine radiance. So for the beautiful brothers who are here that join, I would say to really connect to your inner feminine, because we all have both. We all have both energies within us. And there's a way that tapping into that brings us into so much wholeness and balance. So I thought we could start with just a very simple getting here now, presencing ourselves. And in this way, these calls are different than kind of mainstream webinars. We work, both Chanel and I work in a deeply connected to the heart way, and to become present so that we can really receive. I'd just like to invite you to just presence yourself in the chat, if you will, with anything that you're feeling in brief, like feeling joy, feeling present, or feeling tired, feeling excited, whatever it is. And if there's anything you want to lay down energetically to bring yourself more present, I would ask that you practice the art of quintessentializing, like, I lay down my stress, I lay down my busyness of mind, and just finding yourself really landing here. And I'm not going to take the time to read really long shares today, because time is of the essence. And it's good to presence each other. And in our hearts, what we're going to do is we're just going to send each other this compassion, this loving kindness, and this witnessing for everyone's share that is coming in, really presencing that we are here together in this beautiful container to raise our frequency and to open to these higher octaves of our divine essence. When Chanel and I were talking about the name for the webinar, we chose Rise in Radiance. And I wanted to speak to what that means to us. So as you present yourself, just taking in this transmission for the intention of this call, to really feel like, I'm a yes for this. This is why I'm here. To rise together is, in my opinion, a really important action that's an inner journey. It's not about going out and rallying for outer change together, which is also important, but to rise together rather than in some kind of revolutionary rising up. This is about our evolutionary currents, that we are raising our frequency together. We are rising together out of old patterns, rising together out of dense old stories that keep us in emotional pain, rising into more presence, more heart-centered presence. So if you're a yes for that, you can just say yes in the chat, like, I'm such a yes for that. I'm a yes for rising out of old patterns of reactivity and mental suffering, rising into a higher octave. If you want to just raise your hand, like, oh, yes, we are rising together. So we are here with that intention, raising our frequency, rising out of old, dense, repetitive, energetic patterns. And we're rising in radiance. And if you've, yes, I am so ready. I love feeling your shares. So the more we share, the more we feel each other. And it is so beautiful. We are here together. And that is the nature of the heart. My feeling is that we're at the cusp of a very different time that's coming. And we're in kind of the birthing canal, the growing pains of this new time together that's going to be much more heart-centered. We're going to feel each other more. As we unshield our hearts, we're going to have more empathy and more of our extrasensory perception to really feel. And in this kind of, some people refer to it as like the age of Aquarius, or this age of moving towards the age of truth, coming out of the dark ages. And as we do this great work, we are ushering it in through us. All of this talk about heaven on earth isn't about some outer event that's going to just suddenly dawn and we're going to luckily walk right in with all our old dense energy, all our judgment, all our blame. We have to rise out of that frequency to usher it in heart first through us. And that inner radiance is the natural effect of that work, of this great inner work, the inner radiance. So if you're here, yes, more joy. We are here to be present. And when we're fully present in the heart, the natural state is joy and gratitude. And, you know, I sometimes like to joke, or just people will write me randomly who have never worked with me, who've never been in any of these calls, and they'll ask me really superficial questions. And Chanel and I were talking about this, and we're going to go deeper into this. They'll say, "What skincare do you use? You're so radiant." And I'll laugh and I'll be like, that is not the key. That is not what's going on here. It's the deeper love and inner work that creates the inner radiance. So we're gonna dive into that. So just to presence your own why for why you're here at this gate, as you feel into your heart, go ahead and close your eyes and put a hand on your heart. And just feeling into the parts of you that are already so connected to that inner radiance, and those layers that are ready to just fall away to reveal more of that. And if there's anything that you want to presence that is in the now, that you're recognizing, I let go, I release. This is one of the most powerful actions. It's like medicine for the collective. I release my judgment. I release my future-based anxieties. So just feel anything coming up that's true, that you feel would unshield your heart even more today at this gate. And we're going to step through. We're going to step through, and we're going to share some really beautiful things with you. And then we would like to open it up before the end of the call for you to share your hearts more in this call, and to ask questions as well. Agnes is amplifying enchantment, joy and enchantment. So as you step through whatever is shielding your heart, you can feel into what you're calling into, rising together into this next octave. So on the calls that I've been leading, I offer very simple practices, and sometimes we'll call them goddess embodiment practices. I talk a lot about the divine feminine, and I think it's important to talk about why we use these practices, these embodiment practices. Whether you're a man or a woman, many just FYI, because there are men here, many Tibetan monks use a tantric practice, a white tantric practice of communing with feminine deity. They use what's called a yidam, a visualization practice. And you don't have to be a woman to do goddess embodiment practices. This is a time where we are needing to bring in more of the feminine, because our world is so out of balance. Our world is so in the 11th hour of this illusion of separation and all that that is causing, all the suffering. So when we come back to the heart and we use practices to bring us back into the heart, we naturally step into more of this, what we would call a feminine aspect of interconnectedness, a softness, an openness, a receptivity. So let's do a very simple practice to begin before we go into a little guided journey. Let's bring our hands together and just rubbing your hands of light together, feeling the energy. You can even clap them. This is very activating. And bring them right in front of the heart in Namaste, the simple mudra, and diving into your heart. Deep breath and feeling yourself coming inward with your energy, with your attention, and breathing a little bit more into the back of your body and just feeling everything that you're bringing with you today. All of it is welcome, and the feminine, like the great mother, the divine mother, embraces us with all that we carry. This unconditional embrace. So as you're holding this prayer mudra, you naturally bow the head towards the heart and just feel into your gratitude for anything. And I mean really anything that touches your heart. It could be so unique to you. Breathing and feeling into your gratitude, maybe for this moment, maybe for the beauty in the natural world, maybe for the souls that have blessed your life with love, friendship, companionship. Some of us feel grateful for our animals. Whatever it is for you, just dive into that feeling. And opening up to the back of the heart with your breath, this place that we rarely travel deeper into, the back heart, and to feel the tightness softening with each breath, to feel this back heart opening to what we would call more of the essence light, the soul light. And as you rest in the back of your heart and you feel that place, you might feel emotion, you might feel layers covering the back heart. I'm just going to invite you to imagine that there is an unconditionally loving essence light, this divine mother light, the limitless light. You can bring in, if there's a particular angel or goddess that you feel very close to, you can feel that being as part of this, leaning in to unshield the back of the heart. And as you breathe into that place, visualizing this spark of light, the spark, they call it sometimes a jewel in the center of the lotus flower. Visualizing that spark growing brighter. There might be a particular color frequency that comes into your inner eye as you work with this spark, this jewel, this place that you have never been corrupted, tarnished, broken. This place that is out of reach for all of the illusions of this world, this place that is eternal, innocent. Just breathing into that place. Beautiful. And if there's a particular image, a particular color, just letting that come up as a gift to you. for your inner radiance, for your essence light to shine even brighter. Breathing, and we're going to just gently open our mudra to keep our pinky tips and thumbs connected. And as you open it like a flower, lifting the chin and feeling this offering where the crown of the head moves back and the heart moves forward. And this embodiment practice, this receptivity, very feminine, very receptive, like a chalice opening, and feeling the part of the self that we sometimes refer to as the small self or the personality, looking up internally, looking up, and in your inner eye, looking up to this radiant light and feeling this sincere prayer in your heart. I'm here to rise in radiance, to open to the light of my essence. And for the sincere prayer in your heart, your devotion, sometimes called bhakti, that opens, feeling the light that is now being invited to pour in through the crown of the head, activating the light sensitive parts of the brain, breathing and receiving this soul light, this essence light, even stronger. Deep breath, feeling it bathe your body, the language of light, the true light, our divine mother tongue. It works through us in feeling tones, color frequencies, sometimes sound. Some of us will see sacred geometry. Just keep breathing and receiving the blessing of this inner radiance. Beautiful. And let it wash all the way down into that open, receptive mudra into your heart. And then we're going to take our hands of light and bring them to the solar plexus with a downward triangle. Just breathe into that power center, breathe into this diaphragmic center, the back of that chakra, the back of the solar plexus. And feel all the places that you've been living out of center, coming back into balance. Feeling this inner radiance recharge your battery. Breathing and receiving this beautiful light, whether it's a golden light or there's a particular color, bringing it down now through the belly, through all the organs, and your hands of light slowly coming all the way down. Breathing that all the way down under the navel and just holding the womb space. And this is for especially those of us who have been feeling less than connected to our intuition, to that flowing, watery, feeling body navigation. Those of us who have been overexerting in a man's world. And when I say man's world, I mean out of balance in the yang energy of overproduction, pushing, competition. Breathing and receiving these gentle waters that are flowing in a harmonic of inner peace, equanimity, and just feeling that womb space, receiving the light, the blessings to these waters within. Deep, deep breath, and then opening the hands of light on the lap, the hands open, and just feeling this cultivation, the inner light that you have been cultivating, and how it's pouring down through the root now, through the legs, still with that lifted heart, that soft, receptive heart. And feeling the light pouring all the way through the soles of your feet, and rooting this grace together down through what you're sitting on, the floor, the buildings, the foundation, And together we do this great work of raising our frequency from the inside out through these practices for the collective. So as you root down, feel us like beautiful acupuncture needles, just giving this realm, this amazing Gaia Terra, our love for the one. One more deep breath, and I'm going to invite, as we have vertically been grounding and bringing this light down, that as you bring that vertical axis down all the way to her heart, that you feel the upward axis is all the way through your soul star chakra and beyond that, up to the sun. And deep breath. Now feeling your heart as this center point. And the hands of light raise up to heart level like wings. You can feel your palms lifted. You can feel the heart lifted. Imagine, beloveds, that we can radiate now on this horizontal axis, this plane, like a great embrace together. That we are expanding this axis mundi, this center point of the heart expands and wraps this world, this realm, radiance. Beautiful. All of us, all over the world, connecting. It's like a luminous grid of light. And then we slowly bring those hands of light back to the center of our heart in Namaste. Beloved divine light that we have come from, that which is inside of us and that which we shall return to, guide us, illuminate our hearts and our minds, make us like rays of light emanating forth from your center point, aligned with your holy purpose. The sun is the heart. The great central sun is in the center of the heart. And as we come together in the heart, we ignite this radiance. Very, very slowly bringing that namaste to your third eye, just bowing. And you might feel a little alchemy, a little inner heat as we slowly lower our hands of light to our laps. And just coming back very gently with me and noticing how that inner journey expands your capacity to hold light, expands your capacity to be present, and catalyzes whatever's in the way of love to be touched, to be held. In the feminine, we do not push away the parts that we might call shadow in shame or denial. We hold them in unconditional love. So thank you for feeling what needs to be held, for holding yourselves. Yeah. I'm gonna offer this chalice to you. And if you have your water, this is a wonderful time to we are mostly water. And there is a deep remembrance in the waters of our being, of where we come from and who we truly are. And so we drink of these waters of remembrance to alchemize anything less than love. Drink of these waters of remembrance, transfiguration in grace. Blessed be. So my loves, I want to talk a little bit with Chanel. I'm going to put both of us on the screen together. And she and I have been, she and I have been working together for many, many years now. We have been working with the archetypes of the divine feminine together. And one thing I noticed about Chanel when I very first saw her was this inner radiance. And of course, she's physically stunning, beautiful. That being said, there's something more than that going on, that the more time I spent with Chanel, the more I recognized this being's heart and the innocence and purity and angelic nature of her being. And when she came to sit with me in California, all the way from Europe, I could feel the work that she's done to cultivate this frequency, to really hold this inner radiance the way she does. And I got to witness how she moves, how she talks to others, this consistency of presence, compassion, and the feeling of, wow, there's a special being here that I want to know more. So I wanted to introduce her to you. She is the author of the beautiful book, The Crystal Children's Prophecies. And later, Chanel, I'll invite you if you wanted to pop that into the chat for people to check out. It's a beautiful book she's showing right now, The Crystal Children Prophecies. And these are direct channeled transmissions from her heart, from that place that feels almost like from another lifetime or another realm of just innocence. Hi, Chanel. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. So beautiful to see all of you here. And thank you so much for your beautiful words. It really warms my heart.
So I wanted to deepen with you because I know that people are attracted to you first, online because you're beautiful and you have this energy that especially women are like, what are you up to? And I know that you have worked very, very deeply with health, with the purification of the body. And I know that you've been an initiate, a student of yoga for a very, very long time and worked with some very masterful teachers in that, as well as shamanic work. And that all of these things are helping to purify the body and to move energy. And I just wanted to hear more from your lens about what this rise in radiance means, especially for the collective feminine, what this is for you.
Yeah, I think first of all, we have been so programmed and manipulated in so many ways for so long, by negative societal programming, by an industrial machinery that really wants to kind of take our radiance from us and then sell it back to us again. But the more you study spiritual mystery schools and traditions, the more you really realize, and that's been a big part of my path, the more you realize that it can't be sold, it can't be bought. It's something that we are born with. It's something that belongs to us because our radiance is our nature. And that's also why we are longing for it. That's why we're longing for anything that's shiny, anything that is glittery, because our nature is light, our nature is love, our nature is divine. And anything that might remind us of that on the outside makes us kind of go looking for it. But then we're only looking for what we already are. And that's really what the homecoming is all about, is coming home to our true nature, which is love, which is light. And yeah, it's really fascinating for me seeing also how society is kind of using us against ourselves. And we mistake, we think it's something we have to gain or attain, but it's already ours.
Beautiful. I'm going to come back with you. Hi.
Yeah.
So I love what you were saying about how we're being kind of fooled in a way, that we're lacking, that we're missing something. And that's, what all the advertising is based on.
Mm.
And, one of my initiates for a long time, was a Harvard Business School, is a Harvard Business School graduate, and she studied marketing at Harvard. And now she's in the Divine Feminine movement with me, and not just movement, but the deep mystical practices. And she said when she was in the marketing program, they were teaching them at Harvard how to create the illusion of scarcity,
Mhm.
so that people really were in fear and they think they need to buy. They buy things outside themselves, products to feel beautiful, to feel sexy, to feel worthy. And when we come into the heart, as that journey has revealed in direct experience, and that's the feminine way, it's not so much just talking about it, it's direct embodied experience of it. We recognize, I am beautiful, I am radiant, I am filled with this light, I'm filled with this love.
Mhm.
And yeah, so Chanel, I just thought we could speak a little bit more about frequencies, and I'm going to show them something. I know that you show the same slide you said in your retreats. I think this is a fun
Yeah.
thing to show. So I'm going to do that right now. 1 second. So, beloveds, when we are feeling not enough, we literally are lowering our vibration. When we're feeling unworthy, when we're feeling ashamed, we are not in heaven on earth, we're in hell, literally, as a state of mind. So, looking at this chart, the lowest frequency is shame. It's the bottom of the barrel. And you can see, I'll go on this side, hell. This is really, when we talk about rising in radiance, heaven is a state of mind, it's presence, it's this consciousness that is heart centered. It's hard for me to read it backward, but we are raising our frequency every time we forgive, every time. I like this golden background for a moment. Every time we let go of judgment and choose compassion, every time we release old stories that cycle and cycle. So one of the things that Chanel and I are both committed to is this purification, but not just of the body for inner radiance, of the consciousness of the mind, with practices. And I wanted to share a practice. Thanks, Chanel, for sharing your beautiful book. And Dia Therese says, we're only looking for what we already are. Yes. Yes. The great irony. I want to share a very powerful and simple practice that we can all do. It's not like a hard yoga practice that we feel like, oh God, it's too late for me to become this masterful yogi. There's Kriya yoga. And one of the Kriyas that I love is using mudras and mantras together. So this is a practice to come back to what we already are and to activate and open the heart. And it is with our hands of light again. And this time we're going to bring our ring fingers together with our thumbs. And this alone is activating the meridian that has to do with the heart. But then when we face them together in front of the heart, and just for a moment, you can kind of feel almost like this Qigong exercise, the energy between the two mudras. It's almost like lightly bouncing, slightly feeling the activation of the heart chakra in the subtle body, in the etheric, and then slowly overlapping and placing pinky tips, middle finger, and forefinger tips together at the heart. So that jewel in the center of the lotus flower that I referred to in the inner journey, this is the mudra that represents that. And mudras shift consciousness at will. So when you are feeling stressed, when you're feeling triggered, when you're feeling like that old story is taking you down a slippery slope, just bringing this mudra to the heart. 3 deep breaths is already going to shift your consciousness. 3 deep breaths together. And then, to make it even more powerful, we can add the mantra that goes with this mudra that activates the jewel in the center of the lotus flower and the triple flame of love, wisdom, and power. The mantra, many of you have heard this: Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. This is the Sanskrit Tibetan mantra that brings us right into the center of that jewel. Again, to remember who we already are, who we've always been, to bring us back. So beautiful. I'm going to send you the replay of this call so you can watch this part again if you want to practice the mantra and the mudra that goes with this remembrance of who we already are and the inner radiance that we can cultivate. We can cultivate this in so many ways. So Chanel and I'm going to bring you back on, sweetie, with me together. Here we go. Chanel and I are coming together. Maybe you can share a little bit about why you invited me to come to Europe to be with you, Chanel, and what you said to me about that.
Yeah, so this is because I live in South France. I live in the beautiful sacred land where Mary Magdalene lived. She actually lived here and she walked this land and studying Eden, studying priestess work, and also the rose lineage. Like this is actually where that lineage have a very, very strong connection. So I thought it would be very powerful to do that work here in South France. Because whenever I hold ceremonial work, and whenever we invoke Mary Magdalene and her name, even you can feel her in the land. You can feel her through the land. So the combination can only be very, very potent. I'm very excited to do both. Yeah.
Yeah, so Chanel invited me to come be with her from June 24th to July 2nd in this area in the south of France that is known for these pure crystalline waters where Mary Magdalene would bring people for healings and do this great work, the way of love that she walked with Yeshua. And in our time, in this time, there's a lot of veils lifting. A lot of veils are lifting regarding the role of the women in those times and what was really going on. And the women that were surrounding Yeshua, Jesus, were known as miraphors, the anointing priestesses. And Mary Magdalene, the truth about who she was is coming to light. The Catholic Church has finally made her a saint and called her the disciple of all disciples. And the Gnostic Gospels found at Nag Hammadi, the Gospels of the Magdalene, as well as the Essene Dead Sea Scrolls have come out, and it's come to light that she was his spiritual partner, that they were in this ministry of love, walking the way of love, teaching the way of love together. So I know a lot of us have had religious imprinting. We might have even been told she was some kind of sinful, repenting whore. And it wasn't till 500 years after Jesus's ascension that Pope Gregory the Great decreed that she was a whore, because he combined these characters, these different Marys from the Bible. And even the Mary of Egypt, who may have been a sexual initiatrix in the temples of Egypt and was referred to as coming to Jesus and asking for his blessing, his light, to denigrate the feminine and call the being a whore, like a lowly whore, to be kicked to the curb. We're really raising the veil on the reality of what the roles of the feminine were. Mary Magdalene, I've studied with William Henry, who's a 40 years deep into the research and mythologies and Christian mystical art, and deeply reading the translations of these documents, these scrolls. And he said that Mary Magdalene was kind of the ringleader. She was a wealthy woman that was financing Yeshua's ministry and travels, and that she was trained in Egypt in temple arts and anointing and healings. And that in a way we have this history that's missing the feminine. It's erased the feminine. At the advent of the printing press, they never even printed books with she, her, or the word woman. In philosophical books, it was all a man's this, a man's that, his and he and him. So we can see the blatant erasure over the last thousands of years of the feminine. And what's happening now is not about, when we talk about rising, it's not this women's lib movement where we're going to become more masculine than the men. And that we did see the pendulum swing in this kind of illusory feminine power that was like, I can wear that big shoulder pad suit and work for that. I can be that corporate CEO. This isn't about rising in that way. This is about staying so connected to our feminine gifts, our intuition, our softness, our heart, and bringing that love to the world, that compassion, the divine mother principle through us to the world. So I don't know what else you might want to say, Chanel, about this too. When we decided to do this retreat together, I asked Chanel, I said, this isn't going to be for everyone because we're going to go very deep into the mysteries. I know there's a lot of people that want to just learn about Mary Magdalene intellectually. We're going to be doing practices and inner alchemy, ascension work, similar to what the priestesses were doing in those times. And this is for those who are ready to step even deeper into their leadership as love, leadership from the heart.
Yeah. And we will also, in this retreat, we will travel to several sacred sites. And it's very normal here in South France to have many mystical experiences. I've been here now for 2 years, and there's something very unique and special with the different sacred sites here. And it's very normal to have most beautiful. I've had some of the most magical mystery phenomenon happening when I'm here. Yeah, that's also going to be part of our retreat. We're going to several of these sacred sites and also to places that are not so well known. They're not part of the popular places, the more secret places.
Yeah. What excites me is actually doing ceremonial work, learning temple arts for people who have not had that opportunity in a place so rich with that energy and the history and these healing waters. So I have put the link to the retreat on the chat, and I know that some people will say, this is such a incredible luxury to be able to go to France, or for those friends in Europe, sometimes there's, different rates of life and costs of life between America and Europe. And we consciously did not charge a lot for this retreat compared to other week-long retreats that I've seen. It's a very, very fair ask for everything included besides you getting there. And then this wonderful kind of mystical thing happened where the place that we found has this priestess room, this kind of more communal room where there's the ability to come in at a lesser rate because of this particular place that we found not being only double rooms and single rooms. So that is something that if it is interesting to you to come, to go deep with us, you can ask us about that via email. You can apply. And we wanted to make this something that people who are healers, who are light workers, who are administering to the others in their lives from their wisdom, their hearts, space holders. You know, so many of us are such a big yes for leading with love, and we need more tools, more skills to be able to do that effectively in these times, because there's definitely a bigger need than ever in these times. Would you say anything else about that, Chanel? What we've shared a little bit about what you're seeing from your clients and people and what they're saying about, you know, just feeling drained or not having.
Yeah. It's so important for women, also for men. I'm so happy that men are coming together and having more, you know, um, gatherings only for men. As women, we need each other and we need to come together. There's something very special that happens when we come together, deep healing and an opportunity to shift out of some of these old ways of relating that are outdated. Some of these ways of coming together. For me, it's been deeply healing to be with women. There's certain things that gets shifted and alchemized. And then being with women in this way is even more potent because the intention is also there for healing. So yeah, I've been holding retreats for 15 years. I'm coming up to my 100th retreat. So I've been doing this for a while. And what I'm seeing is that every time a group comes together, it's a specific constellation of people that comes together. It's almost like it's pre-arranged. And each group that I'm holding space for, um, there's certain things that it's almost like it's already arranged for what comes up in the field. I had one retreat where everyone in the retreat wanted to commit suicide.
Oh my
And we had to talk about that and really bring that to the table and talk. That became a big part of the healing and the cleansing and releasing of not wanting to be on earth, and we could really go through that together. So, and I had another retreat where there was another theme of not standing in one's power. So I'm very excited to see what this specific group is coming together for. I can already see it forming. I can already feel and sense what it's going to be. And it's definitely about standing in one's feminine radiance and power, and really fully daring to open that door. I know a lot of women are playing small. A lot of women are hiding. A lot of women are scared of how great we actually can be. So I'm excited to see what this specific group is coming together for, because it's always a specific theme.
Beautiful. Yes. And the women that have stepped forward already are stepping forward because they're leaders in their own way. And it doesn't mean you have to lead a company or, be considering yourself already a priestess leading a big circle. It's about knowing I want to be a part of the shift that we're talking about, the change into this higher octave for humanity. So I've seen that as a theme already with the women who have joined, and I know there'll be more that are coming that are resonating with that same theme. And then, like you're saying, it's almost like, well, what is in the way, really, of us stepping fully into that, like, like full out, courageous leadership and love in our lives? And that'll be curious if there's a theme about that, like you're pointing to. I know that I am ready. Yes. Beautiful. Dia Therese is sharing about the roles of women. Um, huh. The feminine was capable of hearing him. Yeah, beautiful. There's a lot of channeled work coming out about Mary Magdalene, and then there are these ancient scriptures or scrolls written in Greek and Aramaic that are actually really confirming how much of a leader she was, how powerful and what a priestess she was. And I think we're denied these kind of powerful feminine archetypes. We have been until now in our world. Besides Mother Mary, I would say that is the one kind of divine feminine archetype in Abrahamic, Judeo-Christian kind of religious imprinting that we've been given. So now it's really coming to light that women have been leaders, and yeah, there's a lot to say about the imprinting, about Mother Mary being divine because it was virginal, and all the erasure of sacred sexuality, and how there's been this control and fear of feminine power, which has a lot to do with Shakti and our sacred sexuality as well. So that's going to be another theme on the retreat. We're going to be working with 3 feminine archetypes: the Great Mother, the Goddess of Compassion, and the Priestess, while weaving in with the Primal Goddess and the Goddess of Love, because these archetypes get us fully into the body as the temple. And that's one of Magdalene's deepest transmissions, and Yeshua's. There's no separation from the divine in the body, in the heart, in the sacred heart, in the temple of the body. So, yeah, is there anything else you would share, Chanel, about what we're going to be up to? Or in closing?
I think it's like we've touched upon some other places on social media, and we talked about there's a lot of women's circles now, and there's beautiful conversations, and there's oracle card picking, and all of that is so beautiful and great. But this is different. This is an initiation. This is really a portal. My experience is that after a retreat like this, life is forever changed. You leave luggage that you don't want to bring with you, and you step through some gateways where there's a part of you, that gets the opportunity to really shift massively some things that might be troubling you or holding you back. Yeah, that's certainly my experience, and also walking the path myself through Eden's work is very, very potent. I feel it's in so many ways. You can take a long way through life, or you can take a shortcut. And taking the shortcut is not for everyone, but it is for some of us,
The brave.
the brave ones. And it's very, very rewarding, because when we do go that path, we kind of speed up the process.
Right.
And this work is for sure like that. That's my experience of it.
Yeah, thank you for that. The difference between an initiation, like a soul level initiation, where you're willing to feel the alchemy, and working with archetypal energy and in a ceremonial space with a very coherent container is going to accelerate that alchemy, and to be held in a high frequency, unconditionally loving space is really rare. That alone changes everything. When I first experienced it with my teacher and my mentor, Ariel Spilsbury, it changed my life so radically. I was on the track to be a pop rock star. I thought that was my mission, to come through lyrics, to spread love on earth, and I still will make music. But boy, when I saw the changes that people were experiencing so fast, and my own self-love level raising so high, I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. I need to step into this work. So that was 13 years ago. And it's such an honor to do this work. So for those who find this later and they're like a full, like, yes, I'm ready, please don't hesitate to reach out. There is a way that this situation with the shared room is a really big scholarship for this retreat. So ask, because it may be for you. This might be time for you. again, a very big beginning, the feminine renaissance, the rebirth, the renewal of your full shining, your full yes from the heart. So everyone, thank you so much for being with us. And I know that some of you, I am hearing that if your physical bodies were strong enough, that you would be with us in a heartbeat, and you are so with us in spirit. And I'm so glad there's other ways for us to connect and be in the work and be in this frequency. And I will keep coming back after the rainbow body activation course. We'll be back with our weekly and turn of the wheel events after France. So much love, everyone. Let's just take a moment to just feel this renaissance in our own hearts. I'm seeing the image of a dove as I do that. And just for the one heart, lifting that to the one heart. Blessed be. Thank you, everyone. So much love. Bye for now. Much, much love.